This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. We're taking a little bit of a closer look at this guitar today, this budget single cut Les Paul copy from Artist Guitars. This is the Artist AP59, which has been very generously loaned to me by a viewer of this channel called Dave, and you know, he said I could do a couple of videos with it, so that's what I'm doing. I've got a fair bit to say about this guitar, most of it good, but some of it not so good, and we'll get into all of that right after we've heard what this lovely looking thing sounds like in a mix. And as usual, you'll find a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it and a jam track to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below in the description. Anyway, a little bit more housekeeping before we go any further. You probably know what's coming next because I say this in all these kind of videos, but I was playing through my Blue Guitar Amp 1 Mercury Edition on the Vintage channel for all of the guitar tones in that demo there. The crunchy sort of power chord stuff was just those settings. The cleaner stuff, just same settings again, but with the guitar's volume controls rolled off. And for the shoutier high gain stuff, we introduced the New X Horseman drive pedal into the front end of it, and those are the tones you were hearing, and a little bit of like delay and reverb and stuff that I added in Reaper in the mix. So, as I say, a few opinions to share with you on this guitar, and we'll get into those right after we've taken a look at some weights and measures. That's these here. So you can see the weight of this guitar is 4.09 kilos. It's a chunky old Hector, but it's not, you know, it's not too bad. You expect a certain amount of chunkiness with a guitar of this type, and you know, this guitar is no exception. Nut width of 43mm and a 12-inch fretboard radius. You can see the 1st and 12th fret neck profiles there, and DC pickup resistance readings. Bridge is a whopping 14.68k, neck is 7.17, and in the middle it's 4.83. And chop all of those numbers in half pretty much if you engage the single coil switching on the volume controls. So it is an attractive looking guitar. If I just did that, you would think, oh, hello, that looks rather nice, doesn't it? It doesn't have that kind of sharpened kind of cutaway here that many manufacturers do to keep Gibson's legal department happy. So I don't know how they're getting away with it, but they are. And it's a very attractive looking guitar. I like the look of it. I've got to tell you, I'm impressed with these Bullbucker pickups here. As I think I mentioned on Thursday when I did my first impressions kind of look at this guitar, I had the Artist TC59, which had the same Bullbucker pickups in with, if my memory serves me correctly, similar kind of readings to what we've just seen here. But I just didn't like those pickups in that guitar at all. I thought they sounded woolly, muffled, muddy, just everything that I dislike in a humbucker pickup. These don't, and I think the reason is probably that in the TC59, the HH Telecaster thing that I'm referring to, they have covers on the pickups. These don't, and they appear to have a much kind of more open and airy kind of sound. It's you know what I mean. There's a lot more top end going on, is what I'm saying. And that's the first time I know people have spoken about this many times. Oh, you take the covers off a humbucker and it dramatically changes the sound for the better. I've never noticed that before, but if that's the cause of this here, I certainly have noticed it in this case. Up the top end we have, I'll put a link to the full spec in the description, but you can see we've got some Artist kind of, well, unbranded, I was going to say Artist branded, but they're unbranded locking tuners. I've got a bit more to say about those in a moment. And as I say, check out the full spec down in the description if you're interested in the finer details. I will just say that this guitar isn't stock. I mentioned this on Thursday. Dave, who loaned me the guitar, likes the kind of break angle that you get over the bridge when you top wrap the strings, but he doesn't like the way that top wrapping can often kind of scar and leave marks on the top of the tailpiece. So what he's done is, if you can see there, he's put like a nut on the tailpiece post to raise it up a little bit and give him that break angle. It's not something I would do because I don't think I've ever really top wrapped a Les Paul or strung a Les Paul that way. I'm not sure what advantages it gives, but some people like to do it, and some people claim it has advantages. Maybe I should do a video on that. We'll see. Anyway. And brass saddles on the Tune-o-matic bridge. Again, the bridge is something I want to talk about in a moment. It's a very comfortable and enjoyable guitar to play, this. But I did struggle with it. You possibly noticed in that little demo piece at the top of the video that I was struggling with tuning. Obviously there's various different takes that I would do to put a piece of music like that together, so tune up before each take, as you do. And I'm not using a cheap tune, I'm using a Peterson strobe tuner, so I know it's in tune. And you're getting about halfway through like an 8-bar section or a 16-bar section of the piece of music. You're thinking, this is starting to sound a little bit kind of off. It's a little bit sour and out of tune, and true to form, you kind of abandon that take and go and check the tuning again, and it's out of tune. I don't know what's going on there. I don't think it's the nut slots. They cut really nicely. I think it's these tuners here, because I did have a specific issue with the tuners on this guitar. Let me put the guitar down and I'll talk you through it. That big solo at the end of that piece of music there, I was ready to hit record and play that, and got into a lick, and the top E string's out of tune. Okay, abandon that take and try to retune up and try again. Same thing happens 2 or 3 times, and I looked at the tuning peg, and I noticed that despite the fact that they are locking tuners, there was quite a lot of winds around the post. So I thought, well, yeah, that could be an issue there. A bit of slack in the winds. So I took that string off and replaced it with one of the spares. If you use legacy strings from Strings Direct, you always get like a bunch of spare E strings in there as well. So put try to put the spare one on, and this is when I noticed the problem. Despite the fact that the locking wheel, I've taken the tuner off the guitar for this, I had to fix it. Despite the fact that the locking wheel was fully loosened, you can see that you can't see daylight through the hole. The locking pin was kind of stuck in place, and it took a lot of time, and that kind of beaky, hooky bit on the end of the missus's nail file. The kind of thing at the end of a nail file. There's that kind of pointy bit. It took that. A fair amount of WD-40 and an even greater amount of profanity to get the locking pin freed. So I managed to get the new string on and get the demo piece finished, but I didn't use the locking aspect of the tune. I just used it like a regular tuner because I didn't trust the locking mechanism. So I can't speak highly of the locking tuners on this guitar. I was having all kinds of tuning issues, which were compounded. It was on the top E string was the worst, but it was on all of the strings I was noticing. And that was compounded by the fact that the intonation isn't set correctly on this guitar, and that is the fault of the bridge. Because although it is a nice looking bridge with brass saddles and everything, which is always a nice touch, the little screws in here that you need to adjust the intonation, most of them are, I'm afraid, stuck, jammed, and even again a little bit of WD-40 wasn't helping matters. So this guitar costs, if we look here at the Artist Guitars website, £319, and that includes the case that you can see there, a nice case. But there's a fair chance that you're going to be having to pay for replacement tuners and a replacement bridge as well, and it is like an ABR1 style bridge that goes direct into the wood. There's no like sort of metal bushings that it goes into there, which again I haven't had all the strings off, but Dave tells me that it's not a particularly good fit. It is a bit loose. So this is a lovely guitar to play, and I think it sounds really, really nice. The action is effortlessly low. There's no dead spots. There's no fret buzz. There's no the fret job on it, the slots and everything. All the things that you can think of that are usually things that would give problems on a budget guitar, are all sorted out. But we've got a problem with the bridge, or a couple of problems with the bridge. It's loose. It doesn't kind of sit into its mounting holes properly. It wobbles basically. That obviously will affect the intonation. You can't correct the intonation because of the seized bridge saddles, and the locking tuners are just, well, on this guitar they're not good. So there's a lot to like about this guitar, but it has a few fundamental problems that, yes, are fixable. But by the time you fix them, you're probably going to be tickling, and spent that money on it, you're probably going to be tickling the bottom end of the price range for, some Epiphones. And the modern, or the inspired by Gibson Epiphones that are coming out of the China factory nowadays, I think are excellent guitars. I had the Epiphone Les Paul Custom in Alpine White in here, and that was an immensely good guitar. I absolutely adored that guitar, and but I sold it on because I've got my Gibson Les Paul, so do I really need an Epiphone as well? So the Epiphone guitars are fantastic, and by the time you've spent what you possibly might need to spend on fixing the faults on one of these, you can get an Epiphone. And the elephant in the room is, of course, Harley Benton. Harley Benton make like the SC552, which has got stainless steel frets. I don't know how much they are at the moment, but I think they're probably a shade cheaper than this guitar. The Epiphone, the Harley Benton doesn't come with a case stone, and neither does the Harley Benton, so that's something to figure into it. On paper, this guitar looks like an absolute bargain and a steal, but this example has some issues that need some attention, and that's going to cost extra money. If you order one, well, you can't at the moment because, as you saw earlier, they are currently out of stock. But if you decide to go down this route, then just bear in mind that you might need to spend some extra money on it. And that is my review of the Artist AP59 Les Paul copy. Make of it what you will, and that is the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful and informative in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars and all manner of other things. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.